Hi there, it's Misty here, and welcome to another card video on my YouTube channel. Today I want to share with you how to make a card using the Bokeh technique. Now, I had never done this before. I don't practice my cards ahead of time. I just turn the camera on and I go with it. So this is my first time doing this, but it turned out pretty good, I think. So I'm going to start off with using Stampin' Up's Melon Mambo. And okay, so I was having some issues with this square blender or rectangle. I don't know what it's called, but I'm used to the round, 1-inch round blending sponges, and but I only had one left. So I had ordered them, but I just didn't have them yet. So it looks horrible, but it turns out pretty good. So just hang in there with me. In the end, you can't tell at all, but so it looks pretty rough around the edges here. But then I'm gonna add in some rich razzleberry, which is also a Stampin' Up ink. And so for the first color, it's just kind of here, there, and everywhere, around the corners and a little bit in the middle. And then I took the darker color. I started out with my light color, obviously, and then I'm going to go in with a little bit darker color. And I'm just kind of there. I really have no rhyme or reason to this. I just, go in where I felt like it. I think I did around the edges, and I wanted to kind of go through the middle as well. You should really choose colors that are going to complement each other. I'm not going over all of the pink color I just laid down. I'm going to go in areas that I didn't lay the pink. So you're going to see both colors. So just make sure you're using colors that go well together. And each time, I know my card gets further and further down because you want to clean your craft mat after every color you use, so you don't bring it on with your next color. But as I was turning the page, I kept scooting my paper down and scooting it down. So sorry about that when it gets out of the shot here a couple times, but you'll still be able to see what I'm doing. I'll move it back up. All right, so, and you can do this with any colors at all. Just like I said, just make sure that they complement each other. So I'm going to go in now with Mama Elephant's Plumberry. So it's just another purple, but I was playing it pretty safe. Just like I said, I'd never done this before, so I just wanted to keep it easy. So now I'm just going to go in where I don't see color and try to fill in the gaps. I remember at this point I was still looking at this, not quite sure what I was doing or if I was just totally flunking this, but it wasn't looking too pretty yet. But I kept going, hoping for a good outcome, and I'm glad I did. But I'm still using that rectangle blending tool. I think by the end I was a little bit more comfortable with it, but definitely not in the beginning. So now I'm just going to kind of go backwards. I'm going to go with the, which one is this? That's not the plumberry. This is the rich razzleberry. I'm just going to go back and try to fill in, blend it is what I'm trying to do. Just trying to blend it a little bit better. This was really fun. I mean, once I get to the next step, I start having fun with this. Well, the whole thing was fun, but this next part was quite fun in particular. All right, so that's, I'm done with the first step. And this was messy. My fingers were quite inky by the end of this. Okay, so I just made, with my silhouette, I did a bunch of different size circles and printed it or cut it out on some stencil material. So I don't have many circle punches, so I just did the next best thing. And if you do something like this, or if you have acetate and you punch out circles, if you have circle punches, just don't put the circles too close together, because as you can see, that white kind of went far out around some of the circles on this, so just make sure you don't put the circles too close together. So I guess, okay, so I learned that you want these circles to look like they're at different depths. So in order to do that, I just use different pressure. On some of the circles I would do lighter, on some of the circles I would press a little bit harder, so it looks like they are not, you know, it just makes it look like they're at different depths. So, and just be forewarned that when you do this, the white ink I'm using, it's just Hero Arts Unicorn. It's just a white pigment ink, and I chose this one to, I have a couple of them, but I knew that the color was going to transfer onto my ink pad as well as my sponge. As you can see, my sponge is pretty pink by this point. So the color is going to transfer from your card base onto your sponge, and then your sponge onto your ink pad. So what I did is I just used a little corner of my ink pad so that I didn't expose the whole ink pad to the color. And yes, I got pretty messy. Even more messy than I was before. And then I'm just going to clean this off real good so I can reuse it. Now, I feel like I kind of overdid it with the circles on my card front. When I do this again, I'll do less spots on it. But for my first time, you know, I was happy with it for my first time, so. And that's pretty much the background. So I'm not going to do much else to it. I really wanted the bokeh technique to pop, so I did, you know, just two different kind of frames. I did a black is the regular A2 size at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I just did them in 1/4 inch increments. So the white would be 4 by 5 1/4, and then I cut the front there, the bokeh part, down to 3 3/4 by 5. I'm just using my ATG to make sure that sticks nice and good. And I am loving how this is looking so far. So for the sentiment, I actually printed it up on my computer, and then I used just a circle die to cut it out, and then I cut a scallop circle on my silhouette. So I don't have any scalloped circles. Just trying to decide which way this should go. I think it would have looked good the other way too. But the sentiment says, live for today and make it so beautiful that it's worth remembering. I just love that sentiment. I had a client that wanted me to do a dozen different cards using that particular sentiment, so this was just one of them in the bunch. And then I wanted to give it a little oomph, so I put some fun foam behind it. You know, I really should redo this card and do a vertical one too, because I really like the way that looked. So I'm just going to add some Be Creative or Sukwing, whatever this stuff is called, on the back of this. It's really good adhesive. I'll put links to everything I used in the description below, like I always do. Oh, and while I'm doing this, so the little bit of research I did before I made this, I kept seeing people call it two different things. So if you know, comment in below. And is it bokeh or bokeh? I've always thought it was bokeh, but then I heard a couple different people calling it bokeh. So yeah, so if you know how you're really supposed to say it, would you let me know, please? It'd be nice to know if I'm saying it right. So it felt crooked to me, but I had already stuck it down, and I tried to get it up, but it wasn't coming up. So yeah, so I just measured it, and it was just a tad off, but at this point, I mean, there was nothing I was going to do about it, so I just left it. I guess I could have cut out the circle again and put it right over the top, but it wasn't bad enough for me to have to redo the sentiment part. And I can't remember where these sequins are from, but I'll look in my notes and then put it down in the description. I love, love, love sequins. I feel like I put too much on sometimes, but I just love them. I can't help myself. And then I kind of wish I would have put the card on this way. I like the way it opens like a book this way. Because usually when it opens like a book, it's a vertical. And I liked it being horizontal and opening like a book. But I ended up putting on this way. I went with the safe way. These were for a new customer of mine, so I just wasn't quite sure what her style was yet, so that's why I decided to go with the safe route. Alright, so I'm going to use my ATG to glue the card front down, and my card base is Neenah Solar White 110 pound cardstock, and then for my card front I use the Neenah Solar White 80 pound cardstock. And then the black cardstock I believe was from Basil, but like I said, I'll put it in the description below. So that is how my card turned out. Before I go, I'm going to quickly share with you all the cards I have done in this little series. I don't quite have a dozen yet, but I'm just going to show you the ones I do have. And that finishes up my card for the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click on the like button, and if you would like to see more of my videos, please click on the subscribe button. If you see any of these cards here that you would like me to do a video on, let me know in the comments below and I will gladly do it. So one last thing before I go, if you are looking for more inspiration or more ideas, I've included 2 additional videos on your screen here. You can click on either video below this video and it'll take you to another one of my videos. So I hope you will check both of those out. Thanks!